Hi there, Michael Crawford. I'm here on holidays at the moment, so I thought I would do a quick little video because I am curious, and there are a number of videos on the internet circulating that state that for crop sensor cameras you should multiply the minimum f-stop by the crop sensor amount. So say it's a 1.5 crop, you multiply the minimum aperture by 1.5, and then you should get the equivalent full frame aperture. Now I believe that what they're talking about is that you'll get the equivalent full frame aperture the way it behaves with regard to depth of field. It's not actually anything to do with the amount of light coming through the lens. A f1.8 lens is always an f1.8 lens, regardless of whether you put it on a crop sensor, a full frame camera, or a medium format camera. You're still letting through f1.8 of light. So today I'm going to be testing my 56mm Fujifilm f1.2 lens, which should have an equivalent aperture that behaves the same as an 85mm f1.8, because it's a 1.5 crop factor. Ugh, crap factor. So really it's going to behave like a f1.8 85mm lens, which is quite interesting. So it's probably true. I want to test it out and see what happens. And yeah, so I'm just waiting for my son to get home. I'm going to take some shots of him, and we're going to look at those photos on the computer and see what the background looks like, and see if they are in fact equivalent, or whether this is just a load of nonsense. Okay guys, just looking in Lightroom at these two images. On the right hand side we have the Fujifilm lens, the 56mm, and on the left we have the Nikon 85mm full frame lens on the D800E, using the X-T2 with the Fuji, and you can see that the background blur is exactly the same on both of these cameras. It's a very good comparison between the two. Also, the field of view is virtually identical as well. My son may have shifted a little bit in the seat, that's why he's a different size on the Fuji, but that's really not of concern. You can see the background and the field of view is virtually identical from both of these. I was standing on exactly the same spot taking these photos, and the background blur, like I said, is, yeah, it's virtually the same in both of them. So a good match, the 85 and the 56, if you wanted to compare lenses, or you wanted the same sort of effect. It's virtually the same. The interesting thing to note is that just how sharp the Fujifilm lens is. I know this isn't a sharpness comparison between these two lenses, but wow, it's just really off the chart sharp. This Fujifilm lens, you can see the eyelashes and everything's just so much more detail with the Fuji, even though it's a much lower megapixel camera. Very interesting to note that. And yeah, everything all around, the colors are a little bit more natural with the Fuji, with the JPEG straight out of camera. Yeah, so I really like the results we're getting from the Fuji system, and yeah, that's my quick comparison on the computer in Lightroom, and you can see, yeah, there's quite a difference, quite a bit more softening on the Nikon than the Fuji. Okay, so to sum it up, like you can see, the Fujifilm performs exactly the same as far as depth of field and the field of view as its 85 1.8 equivalent. So no real surprises there. It's good to know, it's a good thing to know. I would probably prefer using, for my type of photography, which is going to be people's in you know, on location at events, etc. So I would probably prefer to use the faster lens, the 1.2, because in a low light situation, I've got 1.5 stops, I guess, effectively, of more light getting through my lens to my sensor, so I can use, so in an equivalent environment, I'm getting, you know, a 1.5 stop advantage. So that's really good to know. Yeah, I was really blown away by it. It's, you know, you sort of take it for granted how sharp the Fujifilm lenses are, but it's not until you sort of put them side by side against their and their relative comparisons, and it's just really amazing how sharp that whole system is. The Fujifilm quality is just outstanding. Yeah, I'm really impressed and happy with the quality of lenses and the image sensors that Fujifilm are producing. Definitely no need for full frame anymore. Yeah, you can carry a much lighter system. I did weigh the two systems just to compare. What did I weigh them in at? I wrote it down, sorry. I've got the Nikon at 1,440 grams and the Fujifilm at 1,013 grams. So it's almost, you know, more than 400 grams heavier. So the weight of my that I'm using to film right now on, the weight of this little Panasonic Lumix camera is the weight difference. So it's considerable weight advantage with using the crop sensor system. Whether or not that matters to you is another story. It does matter to me. I've got to carry the gear around, and I'd much rather carry something a bit lighter. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this quick comparison between 85mm and 56mm lenses. Yeah, I'll try and bring you more content as I'm on holidays for a couple of weeks, and I'll catch you later. Bye.